This episode of Another Happy Pod is going to contain spoilers. If you've not experienced the content yourself, please go ahead and do so before coming back and listening to the boys ramble on about it. Thank you very much.
What's up, gamers? Hello, welcome back to Another Happy Pod, the show where we talk about pop culture, movies, and try to keep things just a little bit more positive. We don't always succeed, but we do have a good time doing it. My name's Nathan, and as always, I'm joined by Lawrence Heisey. He's a cunt, no one cares about him. And also Beth Taylor, our special Marvel correspondent. Hello, Beth, how are you?
I'm fantastic, Nathan. How are you?
What a wonderful day. I'm very well. How is that other cunt?
I'm very well, Nathan. It's Electro Monday today.
Okay, that's a great joke.
Thank you. I think it is.
Yeah.
I'm very well, Nathan. I've just seen a good movie. But how are you two? How have you two been?
Yeah,
We've been
pretty
alright.
good. Let's shut up.
You've both been
We're fine. We want to talk about the movie because we've had to wait.
Whenever I jump straight in, you go, "Oh, Lawrence always just jumps straight into it.
Yes.
Never time for chit chat."
I think
Yes,
on this occasion we can jump right in.
exactly, Lawrence. This
Beth, you'll
isn't
be-
a regular
Beth,
occasion.
Bethany, your invite will be revoked if you talk back again. How dare you?
Lawrence
Excuse you.
Heisey, you make up 50% of the pod, so
He doesn't.
shut
He
your
does.
mouth.
I'm the director, so
Oh, there you go
he's
then.
lucky to be here, if anything.
I'll be
Lucky.
replacing you, Lawrence.
Exactly. How'd you like that?
The listeners will plummet.
Oh, that's what you think.
From 4 to 2.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be like, I can. Lawrence is
50%
gone.
is all I hear, Nathan.
No, they'll go. Lawrence is gone. Thank fuck, I can finally listen to Nathan without having to put up with that ear
Nah.
bleeding.
Yeah.
Ear bleeding. Bloody Nora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That pedophile.
Very rude.
Anyway, we saw a movie that the world has been waiting for, that everyone and their mum knew the secrets and the casting about. We saw Spider-Man No Way Home. Me and Beth saw it yesterday. Not
We
together.
did.
But Lawrence saw it like about fucking 12 years after it came out.
Fake
But-
fan.
Yeah, fake fan indeed.
It was going to be worse. I was originally going to see it tomorrow.
I know, yeah, you stupid slut. Anyway, so Spider-Man No Way Home, pretty good.
Oh.
I agree. And next week, we're going to be talking about this.
Hawkeye.
Oh, we will actually.
Yeah, Beth, you back.
Beth, you're the guest. Give us
I'm
your
back.
thoughts.
And no,
You
shut
know
up.
what?
So this is, as December, we are doing a series of fun and family festive episodes for festive movies. So we started with Home Alone. We then no, we didn't.
No,
do
we
Home
didn't.
Alone. No, we didn't. What did we do? What did we do?
Stuart Little.
Oh yeah, that's it. We did
Same
Stuart
movie, just with a mouse.
We did Stew a Little. Then we did the Star Wars Holiday Special, but it never got released because we lost the recording. And now
Oh.
we're doing Spider-Man, everyone's favorite family festive movie. So Merry Christmas to all, and to all. Beth, what did you think of Spider-Man?
Best Spider-Man movie I've ever seen.
Boom! There it is.
There
That's
we
how
go.
I feel.
Bold
That's
claim.
how I
Twitter
feel.
is seething.
Twitter pretty much agrees.
That's how
Yeah.
I feel.
Thank God. Can we all unite under a Spider-Man movie that has mostly been received as positive for everyone?
Lawrence, what did you think of this movie?
I would be inclined to agree. I think it's too early to say, but I would be very inclined to agree with Beth.
I would also be inclined to agree with Beth. It is a bold claim, but fuck, it's a good movie. It is
Yeah.
such a
film.
good movie.
Yeah.
I had the best cinema experience of my life watching this because I had an empty cinema. It was
Oh.
literally just me.
Well, excuse me, with a recliner and a buffet.
I treated
Ooh.
myself. I did the Cineworld VIP experience. It's like 30 quid a ticket. But I thought, you know what, it's Spider-Man. I'm going to take the day off work. I'm going to do this properly.
I feel like as well it's one of those movies where I feel like it's been anticipated. I'm gonna boldly claim like Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
I feel like the hype was so massive and you're only going to experience this type of thing once in the cinema, so why not treat yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I have seen, there are videos starting to pop up online of similar reactions to like Endgame and that sort of thing in the cinema. So people seem to be enjoying this. But yeah, I saw it in an empty cinema, which for me, that is my ideal cinema experience.
Yeah.
Just no one else around me, just complete silence. I can be as loud as I want if I want to. There's no one else
You
distracting
can
me.
sob if you want to.
I can sob, and I did.
Yeah.
Did.
Oh God, yeah.
Several occasions did I sob.
Oh,
But yes, we'll get into all of that. So, opening was great. I would say it picks up immediately after Far From Home, but it kind of picks up during Far From Home.
Yeah.
Because it's like literally during the last few seconds of Far From Home, it picks up. And I think it's just a great opening. It really just fucking throws you headfirst into the chaos of like what that reveal would be.
yeah.
Were you guys scared? So when I remember when I watched Far From Home for the first time, and at the end I went, God, I hope they don't fumble that cliffhanger. Like
Yeah.
I was like, they've basically Marvel have brought their cock to the table. Now
Yeah.
fucking do something with it. And I was so happy when the opening was good, and it wasn't just like some fucking bullshit reason, and then it was fine.
Yeah.
Because the end of Homecoming, they both ended with someone saying "What the fuck." In the first one, it was Aunt May when she found out Peter was Spider-Man. In
Yeah.
that one, it was Peter when the world found out he was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And so the end of Homecoming, like it kind of did the same thing. I thought there was going to be more of a payoff of that in Far From Home, but there wasn't. It was just
Yeah.
like, oh, she's fine with it. Let's move on. So there was a bit of a worry, like when Far From Home came out there, are they going to do something similar? Is it just going to be people know Peter is Spider-Man now? Is there going to be ramifications of this?
Yeah.
But no, they did it. They fucking stuck to it, and fair play to them.
And my God, when they stick to it, it's good. It's so much better than when they don't.
I felt physically uncomfortable when, like, in a good way. Like, I felt like, fucking hell, I would not want to be Peter Parker right now. Like,
Well, that woman tried to grab his mask and just take it off him. I was like, what are you doing?
I liked they released that clip, didn't they? They released that
Yeah.
clip, and then I realized like what the stuff they cut out of it, because they cut quite a lot out.
Yeah.
Of what they released, and it was there's a really funny moment where it's like Peter's like, "Excuse me, guys, can you please not touch my girlfriend?" Blah blah blah, and she grabs his mask, and then he's like, "Could you?" And then like he pulls away, and she's like, "Spider-Man hit me! I'm recording this! Spider-Man hit me!" I was like, "Fuck, man. America is the Wild West."
Yeah, no, I didn't see that. The only stuff that I saw before I went into it was the 2 trailers, and that was that. I didn't watch any
Smart.
spots. I knew that obviously they released the first couple minutes, and I was like, nope, I'm going to wait until I'm in the cinema because I want to experience this for the first time. And when I did, and I saw the shitstorm that was going on, like, I like it. I love it when a movie makes me feel things on the inside, not just like
Yeah.
happiness and tears, but like uncomfortableness and cringiness and all the
Yeah.
stuff that you don't want to feel. It makes it feel so much more realistic. I felt like I was there with him. I felt the feelings that he was feeling. I was like, I do not want to be in that position.
Yeah, I do love that moment when they get back to the apartment and they're having to juggle both Happy and Aunt May, and then like just out everything else, like all the chaos, trying to stop them from finding out. But how long can that really go on for? How long can they just enjoy this little bit of bliss that they have, this little bit of peace before it all goes to shit? Turns out about 30 seconds, bless them. But
They got helicopters outside waiting for them.
yeah, that was just a really good scene. Again, just the chaos of it all. Yeah, I enjoyed that, and it was a funny sex joke too.
Beth, real quick, what was your so I know how Nathan's watched the Spider-Man movies in the past and stuff, but I saw you were rewatching them on Twitter. Had you seen all of the Spider-Man movies prior to the MCU Spider-Man stuff?
So I'd seen both the Andrew Garfields, and I'd only actually seen Spider-Man 1. I hadn't seen
Okay.
number 2 and
Oh,
3.
okay.
So obviously, you know, as a female and the first child in my family,
Lads.
I didn't get to grow up with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Not to say that, you know, girls, 5, 6 years old can't. But that was just
But your
was
mum
my
enforces
experience.
gender stereotypes and is a bad
No,
mum.
it was just that was my life. That's just how it was. I was never really introduced. So I was quite late to the superhero scene. But what I wanted to do, so obviously I'd already seen the first one, but knowing that this was coming up, and I wanted to, in a way, pay homage to Tobey Maguire, because in a sense, he started this all off. He started Spider-Man. Obviously, people already loved Spider-Man before they brought it to live action, but I feel like Tobey Maguire just really took it off, and I wanted to watch it, especially as well because I knew about the Green Goblin because I'd seen the first movie, but I didn't know anything about Doc Ock from the fact that he's got tentacle for arms. So I wanted to rewatch the movies, actually see them for the first time as well, number 2 and 3, and get
Yeah.
to know the villains, their backstory. I didn't know that Doc Ock was genuinely a good guy. He was just,
He's one of the boys.
yeah, he was just,
Well.
he had a terrible accident that ended up controlling him. So for me to watch that before I watched No Way Home, I was glad that I did.
Doc Ock is the world's most theatrical eco-terrorist, and always has been.
I need to make a clear distinction here. The movie version is.
Yeah. True.
Yeah,
He loves
but
the
no.
power of the sun in the palm of his hand, Nathan. He absolutely loves it.
When he said that, I was cheering. I was literally cheering when he said.
Yeah.
There's a few moments of that.
There are.
There's I'm something of a scientist myself.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, you are, Norman.
Oh, you're amazing. You are amazing.
Yeah, that was
I was
amazing.
like,
we'll get to that. We'll get to all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
So, what do you think
no.
of those Spider-Man movies, though, Beth?
Obviously, they are almost 20 years old.
They're of their time.
Part of me was a little bit, there are some scenes that do make you cringe, but it was more of a good cringe for me because, like, I felt like, I put myself into the mindset of a 5, 6-year-old that,
Campy.
that's the age that I would have been if I'd actually watched when they came out. So I put
Yeah.
myself in that mindset, and obviously there were some scenes, like especially in the third Spider-Man when he's doing that fucking dance and the jazz scene. Like, I was like, oh my god, what is this? But I thought I genuinely enjoyed them. I really
Find us
did.
some shade, hot legs.
Slips a $5.
But no, I'm glad I watched them, and because for me, my Spider-Man, I guess growing up, I'm quoting that, was Andrew Garfield, because
Yeah, baby.
Growing up, I was like fucking uni when that came.
but for me, that's what it was, because I started watching the Avengers, and that's when the Amazing Spider-Man was coming out, and that's when I had a massive crush on Andrew Garfield as well, and I really enjoyed those films. So I wanted to go back and watch
I just got the Andrew Garfield lawyer up arsehole scene from Social Network just on repeat in her bedroom.
Yeah, no, but
the only one.
I just wanted to watch both of them and relive, the Spider-Man love, and reintroduce myself to the villains again, because obviously in the Amazing Spider-Man we get the Lizard and Electro, and rewatching the second Amazing Spider-Man, when I watched it years ago, it was shit. But watching it now, there are some elements to it that I actually do like. Like there's
the
one
Chasm Supremacy.
I think those two movies are better than the Raimi trilogy.
Really?
He said some stuff.
I'm surprised about that.
Anyway, shut up. We forget about that. We're talking about this one anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah. This
You can't talk about this one without talking
Shut
about
up.
them all. I was plugging.
Yes.
We've got an episode. We spoke about it ages ago, although my opinions have drastically changed since then, and I'd like to be removed from that episode.
All right.
Well, no, but it's like things like that scene, the last scene with Electro and Spider-Man when he's when he's bouncing the power off the cables and he's playing Itsy Bitsy Spider.
Yeah.
I just saw that. I was like, that's actually quite cool. I actually quite like that. Why?
Nathan got a boner when that came on because he loves Skrillex. That's what he told me.
It's true. So I watched them all as well, including Spider-Verse, because this movie really is just a fucking love letter to Spider-Man. In the biggest way possible. There's particularly Spider-Man in the movies, obviously, and does
to the fans, I'd say a love letter to the fans.
massively. There's a lot of fan service in this movie.
Yeah.
some of which can be a little hokey and a little cheesy at times. I do think, as much as I love Willem Dafoe in this movie, and he is one of the fucking standouts, he is seriously incredible in this movie. I
Yeah.
do think the "I'm something of a scientist" line was pretty cheesy.
It was.
Oh, and but the best thing about him is that if you're gonna do cheesy, he's the man to do it. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
you
And I
can't
think-
give that to anyone else.
No, and I think that's what, because like you say, it was cheesy, but I think you wouldn't be able to get away with it anywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I say, he did a fucking phenomenal job. This is his best performance as fucking Norman, I think.
He's
He
brilliant.
really fucking played up the whole like fucking Jekyll and Hyde of it all in this movie.
Yeah.
And, it was,
Yeah.
and the actual like fucking pain it caused him. Like he didn't want to be the Goblin. You really got a sense of that in this
Yeah.
movie. And it was
In the first one, I've always gone back and forth, and I'm sure a Raimi fanboy is gonna fucking eat me out. But I've always gone back and forth on, is it all bullshit and is he just an evil, nasty wanker?
Yeah.
Like, and I've always gone back and forth on that. It's because it doesn't do any favors when he's like, Peter, it's me at the end, and then he's like, Godspeed, Spider-Man. And I'm like, well, because that's he seems to be picking and choosing.
But it was very just like here and now in the moment, wasn't it?
Very much so.
It feels like there was a much more clear distinction in this movie than from 20 years ago.
And like the moment where he like fucking the Goblin came back, like when they're in the like Happy's apartment, it was actually fucking terrifying. There was there was a real sense of fucking
that was a great
because
scene.
you had fucking his Peter's spider sense going off, but he couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on.
That was I loved that scene.
It was really well shot as well, and it was fucking just really good. The tension was just off the charts in that scene.
This entire movie makes the rest of Marvel's movies look like shit. Like, no, but it does. No, but do you know what I mean? This
John Watts is a phenomenal director. I think Marvel got lucky with John Watts.
See, I think they did, and they also didn't, because Far From Home looks like shit too.
I disagree.
And I think Homecoming looks amazing, and I think Far From Home looks like shit for the most part. This looks incredible. Like, this
I disagree. I think Far From Home looks really good as well.
I think Far From Home has amazing moments, but when it's shot to shot reverse, it's very lazy in my opinion.
Fair enough.
Right. But yeah, no, I agree. There are some amazing moments in it. But this
anyway, Lawrence loves cinema.
no, but it wasn't it like the moment where this I don't want to jump ahead too much, but the moment where Peter was essentially mourning Aunt May up in that
that's an amazing moment, yeah.
Yeah, but it's so much better because it's shot so nicely.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying this movie is incredibly shot.
Yeah. It was great.
We all agree, yeah.
Okay, good.
Let's all get angry at each other for agreeing.
Right. Firstly, I want to jump in and say that as the world's biggest Daredevil fan, we fucking won, baby. We fucking won. Oh my god, I don't.
Do you know what? I'm
Go
glad
on.
that they didn't do too much. I liked that it was kind of, oh yeah, we've got him, by the way. Just so you know, we've got Charlie Cox, we've got Daredevil. You'll see him soon.
Did you scream, Lawrence?
So I didn't, right? But I was like, I kind of went into this really happy shock, and like the scene was playing out, and I was just like, "It's my fucking Murdoch." And
I saw the walking cane, and I just knew.
Yeah.
I think most people safely assumed at that point.
All right.
When I saw Tom Holland suit up as Spider-Man, I was like, "This is a Spider-Man movie." Yeah.
Oh, shut up. Suck your mum.
You need a lawyer. A blind lawyer appears. Beth's like, now who could this be?
Oh,
this is this is an extremely subtle Easter egg.
But anyway, I stand by the fact that like he wasn't involved in it, but it was a nice little. You know, we do have him, and you're going to see more.
I didn't want him to be. There was like very much, especially in this court. Like I don't think they're going to keep the canon of the Netflix universe.
No,
I think it's just
not.
Look, he's here. You wanted him here. He's fucking here.
If they keep the canon, that means they got to keep Iron Fist, and they're not fucking touching it.
No, definitely not.
They're gonna keep Charlie Cox. They're gonna keep Vincent D'Onofrio. Maybe they'll keep Kristen Ritter. Maybe they'll keep John Bernthal. But they'd be lucky if they did.
I don't think they'll touch John Bernthal now, because that series was way too violent. Like, but then again, so was Daredevil season 1. Like, that's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, they'd have to do something R-rated for like with Daredevil.
I don't think they'll touch the Punisher for a long time. Like, I just don't think they will. But he was one of the standouts of it. But yeah, that was anyway. I didn't want him to be involved more so than the lawyer, because what's Daredevil gonna do? Like, he's
Call that
gonna run
brick.
around and be like, I caught some debris. Like, I don't know. There's a person on the floor, and he's like, better move that out of the way. I'm Daredevil.
He caught that break. That was pretty cool.
He did catch a brick.
That
was a
was
good.
cool.
They're all just like, we have no time to be confused by this, but that wasn't normal. Can we all agree?
On the brick, it said something like Mysterio was right, or I believe Mysterio, or
yeah,
something
Yeah, I
like
believe
that.
Mysterio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you guys? So obviously, this fucking, let's not beat around the bush with the leaks and shit of this. Everyone's known for the longest time that Toby and Andrew were going to be in it. There were people that refused to believe it, but anyone with half a brain knew.
I was one of those people. I refused to believe it. I wanted to be surprised. And when Andrew Garfield said he wasn't in it, and he said, stuff was photoshopped, I was like, do you know what? I'm going to believe you.
Andrew
because-
Garfield needs to be in the Oscars for his performances on talk shows.
he's a mate. Like, Tobey Maguire avoided that because he's not really done anything. So, whereas Andrew Garfield's got a lot of stuff coming out.
It was shitty timing for him. Obviously, it's probably planned out with Sony, but because Andrew Garfield was actually promoting another movie at the time.
Yeah.
So, like, he had to go on the talk shows for his promotional run of Tick, Tick, Boom. And then they were just like, well, we've got you here, Spider-Man, 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 Spider-Man.
Yeah, but
So,
no,
yeah.
I was definitely one of those people that refused to believe it because I was like, if it is true, I want to experience it on the screen first.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was glad that I didn't go around looking like, oh, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, no, like I wasn't looking for proof. I wasn't looking for evidence. I was like, if they're saying they're not in it and they're saying things are Photoshop, because people are good at photoshopping nowadays, I'll believe it. And if it is true, I want to be blown away by the big screen, and which I was.
Yeah, Nathan, what was your reaction to it?
So what, Andrew and Toby?
Yeah, because they come back in a scene that I was not expecting them to come back in.
No, and Ned as well. Sorry to jump forward, but that's quite cool, Ned.
Ned's
we'll
always
get
been
to
cool.
We'll get to Ned. We'll do
Yeah.
Ned.
We will. Yeah, no, I knew there was going to be in it. I did doubt it at some points during the whole discourse. But from like, I don't know, let's say October onwards, it was pretty much fucking guaranteed that they was in it. So it wasn't a massive surprise, but it was still just really exciting confirmation.
Would you say it was more of a surprise to you seeing how much they were in the movie?
No, it was about what I expected. I never thought they'd be in it from the beginning. I didn't necessarily think it'd be just a cameo. I thought it would be like about what we got.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I felt like we got them for obviously, like I say, because I chose not to believe anything and see anything. I felt it was really nice because I felt like I got to see them a lot longer than I expected, and actually seeing them in the suits, and and Toby being a bit older as well, like them not de-aging him, and I liked it.
I am very unfamiliar with Tobey Maguire's face modern day, because when I saw him, I was like, fuck, you're old, dude.
Yeah. You gotta remember, it's been 20 years since the first movie came out.
Absolutely. But I was like, you are old as shit. Like,
especially when you compare him to Willem Dafoe, because I feel like for the longest time, Willem Dafoe's kind of just looked the same.
To be fair, Willem Dafoe is de-aged in this movie, as is Alfred Molina.
Yeah, I knew about Alfred Molina.
Yeah, no. So I've always been of the opinion that while I do like the Raimi movies, they're my least favorite, and I think Toby is the weakest Spider-Man of the three. Don't fucking come for me, Twitter. I don't care, but I just think he's a little wooden. I don't think he necessarily brings too much to the table. He doesn't really fit. He's never really fit the character of Peter or Spider-Man for me.
Yeah.
And if anything, this movie just cemented that. It was like, you know what, I'm right. And because in that scene where they come up in fucking Ned Zabuela's apartment, Andrew comes in and it's fucking great. He's larger than life. He's Andrew Garfield. He's Peter Parker. He's Spider-Man. He's so fucking happy to be back, crawling around the ceilings, doing fucking webs, whatever he's doing. He's having the time of his life. And then someone's fucking dad shows up, looking like they walked into the wrong barbecue and just trying to figure out what the fuck's going on.
You know what? I would
It was
agree
just
with
very,
you there.
it was very just understated and just a little. There was something about it which was just very off. It was just like,
But they couldn't have done it differently. Like
No.
They could have.
No, because it would have been weirder if he came in and was a completely different Spider-Man to that we've known. I completely agree with you.
no,
My
yes,
least favorite thing about the Raimi movies is Spider-Man from the Raimi movies. Like that's weird to say, but it would have been so weird if he came in and was just like, I'm now this massive character.
I think that's one of the things
That's
that
not
I
what I'm
took
saying.
away from watching the Raimi movies recently, as someone who didn't watch them 20 years ago, and obviously seeing the Andrew Garfield and the Tom Holland versions of Spider-Man, and obviously knowing the comics. And I also grew up watching the cartoons.
We've all
and stuff
seen
like that.
Spider-Man.
No, but my thing, I noticed like Tobey Maguire lacks. I feel like the personality of Spider-Man,
does.
you know, like
He
the
massively
quick-witted stuff, the sarcasm, and watching the Raimi movies made me realize that, yeah, you know, he's a classic. He brought the character to life on the big screen, but I prefer Andrew and Tom. I you know, people will hate me for that, but I feel like they embodied how Spider-Man should be with his, you know, sarcasm and jokes and the
People-
chatting and stuff like that.
I like the Raimi movies. I think all three of them are good movies, but people look through them with rose-tinted glasses so much.
So
Yeah.
what? But the thing is that I'm not necessarily saying that he has to come in and fucking do backflips and fucking run up the walls and all that shit. But just walking in and just being like, "Hi,
Hi.
I'm Peter."
Well, he's also a lot older though than the other two. don't you
Yeah,
think?
but still, he doesn't just have to be like, "Hi."
Oh, but then I guess Jake Johnson Spider-Man's an older guy too. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't. He was just very understated. I mean, maybe that's kind of the point because yeah, he is older and that sort of thing. He's like what 40 at this point, 59. I don't fucking know.
Been there, done
But
that.
it's still it's just very. It was very like I don't know, like fucking excited puppy Andrew Garfield, and then fucking a cat on its last fucking life coming in.
Oh,
Well, I've just looked at the age difference. So Tobey Maguire's 46, Andrew
Yeah.
Garfield's 38, and then Tom Holland's 25. So I think
Yeah.
you can definitely see the age difference between.
Don't get me wrong,
Okay,
I like the fact that he's older. I would have hated it if they de-aged him and had him be the same age. I like the fact that he is an older Peter Parker. He's had like fucking life experience. He's clearly still doing Spider-Man, even though you know he's got a bad back and shit and he has to crack it or whatever. But I don't know. Just there was something about that, and to be fair, it is mostly just that bit. For the rest of it, he's pretty okay. But
Yeah.
there was just like the fucking way he came in. It was just very. And now Toby is here too. Especially since, I don't know, I think probably he was the one the fans wanted to see most. So it just seems weird in that respect as well.
Well, I
Yeah.
think I get what you're saying, but I think the people the Raimi fans that wanted to see him again, they will have been absolutely happy with what they got. I think, like,
Yeah.
because that's what they like about the first ones, right? An understated, shy guy who is just like fucking boring as shit, basically.
Yeah.
like a really just a boring dude.
Yeah. Just a
Yeah.
boring guy who struggles to read poetry or whatever.
He
Yeah.
fucking loves a poem.
I was just gonna say, if we take away Tom Holland from the situation, my opinion is I prefer how Andrew portrayed Spider-Man
Well,
and Peter Parker. So
I was just gonna say, I really enjoy Tom as Spider-Man. I think he is a fucking great Spider-Man. Probably the best of the three. That being said, Andrew fucking stole the show in this movie for me.
yeah.
He was so fucking good, man. He was
Yeah.
so good.
Because like Tom Holland, he's always wanted to play Spider-Man as well. Like he grew up with Spider-Man the same way as Tom, and when he was doing the movies, he was so excited. And me and Ben were discussing it because obviously Ben went to see it as well. And I think what we both noticed or felt that we got from Toby and Andrew is this was kind of their way to say goodbye to Spider-Man, because both of them never got to finish their series, because Spider-Man 4 and Amazing Spider-Man 3 were essentially pulled from underneath them.
Yeah. I think one of them got more of a wrap up than the other did. But
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Justice for Andrew Garfield is what I continue to say
100%.
at this point.
I had the reverse effect because Andrew Garfield's always been my favorite Spider-Man. Like I don't think he necessarily has the best movies. I like his movies, but they're not my favorite ones. But
played
I
him
think
well.
I think he's the best on-screen adaptation of Spider-Man until I saw this, and it's
Yes.
still very early doors for me. But what Tom Holland did differently with this Peter Parker, and maybe it's because I've just rewatched both of his two previous movies, is the evolution, like the arc of him going from child to Peter Parker, Spider-Man superhero, responsible dude. Like in this, he fucking nailed it.
Tom
Like,
Holland is so
good.
good in this movie. What I was saying about Andrew Steele on the show, that's not to fucking disparage Tom at all, because he was seriously fucking incredible. And it is the best he's ever been. He's always been good as Spider-Man. I've always loved him as Spider-Man from the beginning.
This solidified him.
But this,
mate, they gave him shit in this. They let him chew a fucking sad scene, and he clearly stepped up and brought the acting chops to it. Because like one thing, like the MCU, yes, I know it gets his criticisms for like, you know, it's a joke and stuff, but they've never. For me, I've never disliked what the MCU have done with Spider-Man. It just wasn't what I'm technically used to seeing as Spider-Man. But this was, and I was like, fuck, this is a really welcome surprise. And
the scene on the rooftop again, you know, where we said it earlier, it's a well shot scene where he's watching, you know, Jameson on the fucking screen and that sort of thing. It's a well shot scene, but just fucking Tom as well though. He plays it so well, and then later on the school rooftop, where, you know, the three of them get to have the talk about like who they've lost and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Well, two of them bring their A game. One of them's pretty good as well. For that scene, they've all lost someone, all right, but just two of them are better at showing it. And I'm being mean. I'm being very mean.
No, I know what you mean.
He's good.
let's draw a line on the fact that Tobey Maguire is the least talented Spider-Man actor, in my opinion.
Yes.
But that's my opinion. Come at me, Twitter. Fuck.
But no, Tom is fucking incredible in this movie. I genuinely mean that. Like the scenes where he's talking, where just the scene alone, the moment where he's just hugging fucking Zendaya and Jacob Batalon, when after Aunt May's died, it's fucking heartbreaking. And then how he says he wants to kill fucking Norman for what he's done, and then the fight as well. It was fucking brutal, and he was just good. He was very, very good, and he deserved.
Do you know what? I feel like I got I felt like a proud mum for Tom Holland, because I know, you know, where he's our age, and obviously everyone's seen those pictures going around of Tom when he was a young kid wearing his Spider-Man suit and his Spider-Man action figures. I feel like I could feel how excited and happy he was through the screen to be working with Toby and Andrew, and I feel like, you know, he's always been good at Spider-Man, and he's always
he got a standing ovation after the premiere, and he like burst into tears.
But that's what I mean. I feel like he definitely, you know, not to say that he didn't give it his all in the last two movies, but I think from a sense of pride and happiness, he actually brought his A game to this movie.
I think he brought it all in the last two movies, but I don't think I want to stress I like them. I like them both quite a bit. I think Tom Holland has always brought his A game. I just don't think Sony has.
Yeah, I'd agree, and I think I think Sony are the biggest fucking villain of all of them. They've always been there. They've always
everyone over.
They really have. They've always been the biggest villain. They are the reason that my fucking guy Garfield didn't get his due, and he didn't, you know, get to finish his story. And they really, really fucked him over.
They were like, you know that meme of Eric Andre shooting someone, and it's like, why did you do this? It's like amazing. Sony stuffed too much into Amazing Spider-Man 2. Amazing Spider-Man 2 fails. How did you do this? It's like, you did it.
How could Andrew Garfield do this?
How did Andrew Garfield do this so badly?
Also, take away the flaws in the Amazing Spider-Man 2. I could not complain about Andrew's performance at all in that movie.
It's the shining light of his films.
And that massively carries over to this. One moment I really loved in this movie is that scene on the rooftop again when they was talking about, you know, Uncle Ben, Aunt May, Gwen, and all that sort of stuff. And Andrew Garfield, Peter, was talking about how he lost Gwen, and then he was talking about like what that did to him, and he stopped. he stopped pulling his punches. He stopped being Spider-Man, not in the sense that he wasn't fucking
Yeah.
crime, but he wasn't holding himself back. He was just really fucking
line-
staring into people, and it was
the line about him like stop pulling his punches fucking broke my heart, because you can see him going down that path at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2, and it's why it stings that we never got Amazing Spider-Man 3.
It really
because
does,
of the fact that they literally fucking teed him up, lined him up, and then just went, nah, you'll never get the chance.
Yeah.
And it is fucking heartbreaking. And then again, the scene where with fucking MJ falling off the statue, and Tom Holland goes to save her, but he gets knocked out the way. And then Andrew, he doesn't fucking miss a second. Good for him.
Oh.
Straight away, he's on it.
The redemption, I was so happy. Like, and then, like you say, when he gets to the bottom, and he asks MJ if she's okay, and then you see that. This is why Andrew Garfield's a phenomenal actor as well, and you see that kind of like slight shift in his facial expressions, where you can tell he thought about the moment of him not being able to catch Gwen, and MJ asks if he's okay, and he's like, "Yeah, I am," but you know that he's thinking in himself. He's like, why couldn't I have done this for Gwen?
Yeah.
I don't think he's thinking that. I think it's way more of a moment of, because he's shown immediately in this as the guy that's like, no one's impressed by my Spider-Man antics, and I'm insecure about it massively. Like, I think at that moment it wasn't a case of how is it possible this time. I think it was a case of, I can do it, and it's always been in me.
I appreciate that.
It was one bad day.
I think it's a bit of
I
both.
appreciate that take.
I think it's a bit of both. I don't think he would class Gwen dying as just one bad day. Just forget about it.
No, yeah. I mean like he fucked up that day.
Yeah.
As in, like, I don't mean like he looked back and went, oh well, there's always tomorrow, and there's always Electro Tuesday.
Great.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But yeah, I do think it was a bit of both. I think it is a bit of pain and fucking and trauma on his part, but also a bit of redemption as well. And he does it both really well. It, like I say, that moment is both heartbreaking and fucking and great. It's a celebration and pain all at once.
It's a bittersweet moment.
It really is. Yeah.
What we thinking about Aunt May in this?
Rip to the
when she said that line, the line. I just knew it was coming.
Well, not just her death, but what do we think about her as a character? Can I tell you why I'm asking?
Yeah, sure.
Do you know? Go on.
Thanks, Beth. I will. I think Aunt May in the MCU is shit, and I said this last time, and I think that they have always missed the mark on her. She's the one thing about the MCU Spider-Man movies I really didn't like, just because I found her really inconsistent. I found her very like 1 minute, like we even said about kind of fumbling the Homecoming catchphrase cliffhanger. Like, she seems to be pissed off and betrayed by the lack of trust and concerned, and then the next movie she's high-fiving him at like feast fundraisers and stuff like that. And I've always thought it's just there's nothing to her. She's there and she's called Aunt May because there needs to be a character there called Aunt May. In this movie, I've never done a quicker U-turn on my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I still would very much argue in Homecoming and Far From Home, she's shit. I like, not Marissa Tomei specifically, she's working with what she's got, but I did not like the character at all. And in this, she stood for absolutely everything that Aunt May has traditionally always stood for, and she was like, put it this way,
she's still concerned about her nephew, but also she understands the responsibility and power that he's got.
But she does the Uncle Ben job. Like, if you look at the first two Spider-Man movies, it's always I never gave a shit that the MCU didn't do the Uncle Ben stuff. I could not care less about it.
I'm glad that they didn't, to be honest, for a third time.
Exactly, but it's also a case of like, but those morals do need to be instilled in Peter, and he does need to learn them, and that's like quite a massive part of Spider-Man. And I like the fact that the MCU did it differently, but as time went on, it was kind of never really addressed or ever brought up or ever learned. And then in this movie, it's almost like it kind of took them 3 movies to teach Peter Parker how to be the best Spider-Man he could possibly be. And I love that, because it's and he was a child. He was like 15 in the first one.
Yeah.
Like, so
he
of course
actually
he's
looks
not going
like
to get
a
it.
kid this time.
Well, yeah, but of course he's not. At 15, you're not going to understand that until you're a bit older. And I like that they took their time with that. And it kind of retroactively makes me really appreciate the fact that I fucking hated Aunt May in the first two. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's really harsh to say you fucking hated her. She's not that bad.
No, right, but
No,
the
but
thing
I
is, she's
get
not
where
that
you're
bad,
coming
but she's
from,
nothing.
though.
She's useless in it. Like, she's
but
not.
no-
With that
She doesn't serve a purpose.
I disagree massively
Oh,
with
well,
that. Far From Home, I can see where you're
outside,
coming from because she's not in the movie much. But Homecoming, absolutely not. Massively disagree.
she's in one scene in Homecoming where she was concerned, and then she doesn't care again for the rest of the movie.
What scene are you talking about?
The scene where Peter's just lost the suit, he fucked up on the ferry, and he comes home and Aunt May's like, "You switched your phone off. You can't do that. I've been shitting myself."
Yeah.
That scene, she's good in, but that's
Yeah.
all she's done.
I don't think Aunt May's only scenes need to be her being scared and concerned and dramatic with Peter, though. That's not her only role in
I
his life.
take that as like a
No.
modern. No, but I get where you're coming from, Lawrence. But I think I'm going to have to agree with Nathan here, where I disagree, because I feel like it's more of a modern relationship nowadays. Because yes, she's going to be concerned, but how many teenagers these days just go off and swan about and do their own thing?
Yeah, but not
You
in
know,
space
and
fighting aliens, Beth.
but
You
she
haven't done that in Homecoming yet.
Yeah, no, I'm,
No,
I'm
but
talking.
like
I'm
Far
talking
From
about the
Home
first.
then.
I'm talking about when
But
she
she's
first.
hardly in Far From Home, though.
Yeah, if
But
we're
that's the
talking,
studio's
Alright.
choice. Like she wasn't there because she wasn't available.
Right,
But
She
then
was
how
there.
can you say you fucking hate her if she's hardly in it?
Because the fact that they barely put her in it. Like, I'm saying this right. I don't think Marissa Tomei is a bad actress. I don't think that
I'm not saying you do say that. No one's
but
saying you're saying that. Stop getting defensive.
I'm not saying that she played the character badly. I'm not saying that the character was bad. I'm saying the character was everything but Aunt May, and she was there to be Aunt May in name only. Like all of Aunt
Massively
May's.
disagree.
That's fine, but all of Aunt May's like I didn't find any maybe it is just me, but maybe I didn't find any recognizable quality in her that made me think this is the Aunt May and Peter Parker relationship.
So
And, like,
what are you looking for in an Aunt May and Peter relationship?
this Peter Parker having questionable morals and questionable things and saying to himself, this isn't my job. It's not my job to give a shit about this. And she's like, it fucking absolutely is.
yeah,
Okay.
That's what I wanted, and that's why I did a U-turn in this. In this movie, she's incredible. I really liked it.
yeah.
Okay, so what about the other Aunt Mays then? Can you show me where that has come in before from the other Aunt Mays?
What specifically?
That what you're talking about?
What, like being the driving force behind Peter's morals?
This whole this moral thing.
The like family values in Amazing Spider-Man 2, the fact that like while I admit it's cheesy in the Raimi trilogy because she's almost always saying you're basically Spider-Man, but I can't tell you that you're Spider-Man because I'm not supposed to know. She's always the person that like Peter goes to her for emotional guidance, and she's always the person that drives. Although she
That
doesn't
happens.
even know
That
it.
happens in Homecoming, though. This is the thing. They're having dinner at the
Once.
No, it doesn't happen fucking once. They're having dinner at the Chinese restaurant before he goes to the party at fucking Thingy's house. They have the talk in the car beforehand. You say once, but it's not once. There are
Right,
these
what-
little
what- so what-
moments
what-
throughout Homecoming where
What
she
happened at
is.
the- what happened at the
Hold
Chinese
on, I'm
place?
talking. There are these little fucking moments throughout Homecoming. Sure, they're not huge fucking massive set pieces, but they don't need to be.
I feel they're more modernized.
Because the part of Aunt May isn't to be just the character who is just his fucking life morals. She is his family. She's his support. She's his fucking confidant. She's someone he talks to about the little things like losing a backpack, about being scared to talk to girls, about doing the fucking suit for the prom and all this sort of stuff.
She's being a mum.
She's his mum. She's his home. She's his family life. She's his rock. So she doesn't need to be just one singular purpose, and that's it. And if she hasn't served that, then she's failed as Aunt May.
Fine. Really quickly before we move on, I'll say I understand where you're coming from in terms of like, you know, like he is the modern version or she is the modern version, and it's like she's there to like talk to him about, you know, how to talk to girls and all of that, and how to navigate other things other than just emotional kind of complexities. But just a bit more of that would have been cool. Like,
Fair
and that's why I'm saying I really appreciated it in this movie, because in this movie she's way more than just his emotional rock. She's a guardian that is willing to die to protect him. She is someone that instills morals in him and tells him that it's not always comfortable and it's not always fair, but he's got the job to do and no one else
Like
can
you
do
say,
it.
she's become the Uncle Ben in the modern day.
Yeah,
movie.
and don't get me wrong, that's so not what I'm saying. I never wanted her to be the Uncle Ben, and I never cared the MCU didn't do that. Just in this movie, Aunt May has the same, around about, I guess, a bit more screen time than she had in Homecoming. I think Sony and Marvel used it a lot better than they've ever done before.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree. I think she was really good in this movie, and this was the best she has been as Aunt May. This is the best Aunt May has been in these movies as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. I didn't
Fair
fucking hate it though.
All right, let's move on.
Oh no, I'm upset. No, I'm joking.
You should be, because you got bad opinions. So the scene where they're comparing web shooters was pretty good.
That was fucking
Yeah.
hell. I feel like that was a bit of a fan service as well, because
Oh, massively,
obviously,
100%.
yeah, like he's got it coming out of his fucking wrist. Obviously, Andrew and Tom are gonna be like, "What?"
That is fucking grim, mate. What are you doing?
When they,
I mean,
when they both looked
the
at me, they
dick
were like,
joke
"That is
as well. The dick joke as well. That was like,
yeah.
oh god.
It was,
Yeah,
yeah, it was
Tom's
great.
like, "It's coming out your willy too, mate." Like, what do you think about that?
I thought that was
Um,
fucking hilarious.
They also kind of got in the Spider-Man pointing meme.
Yeah.
Joke, enjoyed that. Always great.
Where was
to
that?
see.
Did I miss that?
It was when they was in the lab, and Ned was like, Peter, and then all of them were like, and then
Pointing
they're
at
like,
each
"Which one?
other.
Me, you, Peter, me, you, Peter." And yeah, there was
Oh,
all
because they
pointing.
were in like a triangle kind of formation as well, weren't they?
Yeah.
Fuck,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
So that was good. That was funny. One thing I would have liked a bit more of is because one thing you get quite a bit of is Tom and not Tom, Toby and Andrew talking about the stuff that happened to them as Spider-Man, from past movies, and that was great. It was nice to hear them talk about it and stuff. One thing I would have liked, which didn't really happen, apart from one moment with Andrew, is to talk about stuff that we hadn't necessarily seen though. Like I would have loved to
Yeah.
hear some more about some of Toby's adventures, like after Spider-Man 3. But
After Spider-Man 3, I've kicked my hat up and sat in my Spider-Man costume and read poetry for
Exactly.
20 years. Yeah,
I mean, he might as well have, because there was no indication of anything else happening. He vaguely mentioned.
It's sticking with me that you said he was an old dad lost at the wrong barbecue. It's just horrible.
Oh, I meant it. No, but like I think that was not necessarily a mistake, because it's not a mistake at all. What we got was fucking brilliant, and I loved every second of it. But I don't know. I would just kind of like to hear a little bit more about what they have been doing since we last saw them, really, because he's got a lot of history. He's been doing that for like fucking 20 years or something at this
Yeah,
point.
because unlike the villains, they weren't plucked out of the moment, like
Yeah.
in the movies. They were taken out of different parts of their lives that have continued on. So yeah, no, I agree with you there. It would have been nice, because you hear it, like you say, with I think the only part I got from Toby was when he was talking about how him and MJ essentially made it work, and they
Yeah.
obviously must have gotten married, but that was it. I wanted to know more about
Does
like
he have
the
kids?
Spider-Man.
What's going on? Are they married? Do they have kids? He's clearly still being Spider-Man, but how does that fit into his life? Does he still work for the Bugle?
Yeah.
I don't know. I would just like to know a little bit more about what's going on there. But
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I agree.
yeah. Anyway, I thought he was
What
going to
did
die.
Oh, I thought he was dead. I thought he was so dead.
I think they should have.
Nah, I didn't
I thought
think
it would have
that.
been ballsy, but this movie was ballsy. So I was
Yeah.
like, maybe they've brought their cock out even more so.
Yeah, but I think to kill Spider-Man by being stabbed, I thought.
Yeah, but Tobey Maguire's never going to do it again. They could have done.
I did
True.
think that, though. I thought, did Toby make them do this because he doesn't want to do this anymore? Did they Han
Yeah.
Solo it? I thought.
Because
I
when
thought
was
that's
the
what
last
happening.
performance? He hasn't done anything in a
2000
very long time.
Oh, Toby doesn't really work anymore. He doesn't
That's what I
necessarily.
mean. I
He
feel
made,
like
he made bank on these movies and then went, fuck this.
I think the
Yeah.
last thing he did was like Boss Baby or something.
Yeah.
wait, he's Boss Baby.
He's the narrator in Boss
He's
Baby.
someone in Boss Baby, yeah. And
Oh,
then
He's like
yeah,
before
of
that,
course he
older
is.
character, number one or whatever.
and then before that, I think it was that fucking Gatsby movie, Great Gatsby.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
no.
then,
So I managed to get away with this, mostly spoiler free, or so I thought. There's one thing I did see early on, and it must have been in a leak or something, because I didn't see this like this week. So I saw it before the world had seen this film, and it was basically Ned becomes the Sorcerer Supreme, and I went, yeah,
What?
all right, mate, sure, whatever. But Ned does do some magic shit in this,
Yeah.
and I was like,
first
maybe-
of all, First of all, he doesn't become the Sorcerer Supreme because, quite rightly, that title now belongs to my king, Wong. As it
Yeah.
should. As it should.
Yeah.
Mad that the Sorcerer Supreme is just going and fighting fucking illegal
Abomination.
boxing rings on a fucking Saturday
Well,
night.
Wong
but
was
sure.
waiting for the Ancient One to die so he could be like, when this old bat dies, I'm going to go out and do all this shit that I want to do.
Wong is a king and he can do whatever he wants, okay?
It's very
Yeah.
true.
I'll hear no slander on Wong.
He can have different haircuts throughout every movie he's in and no one can say anything.
Look at hey, yes, he can.
Wait, really quickly, one side point. This is so quick. I just want a yes or a no. Is it me or is it every single movie Doctor Strange is in, his wig is getting bigger and his goatee is getting like further up his face?
Yeah, but that Doctor Strange, he's got to be like that. He's a bit
I
of
just
a
felt
weird
like
looking bloke.
in his solo movie, it was like we'll do the goatee because he's got to do the goatee, and in this one, it's like the most magician goatee you'll ever see, which is great.
Can't say I noticed, to be honest.
But
I
don't know,
love
maybe-
Benedict Cumberbatch. I love Doctor Strange. Oh, it's
Yeah.
just nice to see.
It looks good. It's just funny.
He was good in this. I really enjoyed the Spider-Man versus Strange fight as well. It was
I really like that because it shows you how intelligent Peter Parker actually is as well. Because although the mirror dimension is supposed to be the dimension where Doctor Strange succeeds,
yeah.
he's just so fucking smart. He's like, oh, this is physics, and just fucking
He's
beats
surprised
him.
by that as well. Like he comes back through the portal, and he's like, "I just fucking won that shit!" Like, how?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just like I say, it just shows you how smart he actually is. So that was
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah.
What do we?
yeah.
We're getting on with time, so I'm going to say, what do we? The ending. The ending is obviously massive for the future of essentially anything Spider-Man related going
So
forward.
I fucking loved the ending. I've loved everything about this movie, but
Yeah.
the ending, it really fucking was Peter just really stepping into the role. It's heartbreaking. It's really fucking heartbreaking of him
Yeah.
going to see MJ, her just not having a fucking clue who
Oh,
he is, and him deciding
That's
not
so
to
sad.
not to read out the letter or give her the letter or whatever, just because I don't know, maybe he feels guilty, maybe he feels like he doesn't deserve it. Not quite sure, but whatever it is, it's heartbreaking. It's a heartbreaking moment
Yeah.
for him to make that choice. And then it's like that final scene, like that was Spider-Man. That is exactly 100% what Spider-Man is. He's alone, he's in a shitty fucking apartment, he's made his own suit which looks fucking incredible, and he's
Straight
out there
out
swinging through the
comics.
city, stopping crime and looking fucking good.
That's
Yeah.
kind of like that's what I'm saying in the point of, you know, like where it kind of took them 3 movies to show that he's progressed into now what we know as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, because obviously, and they didn't start it late, and it was all, I don't know whether it was retrospective or planned. But he was a child and he was too young to be the Spider-Man we know of from
Yeah.
15 years old.
I
He had to
like the
learn.
slow burn, the character
Yeah.
building and stuff
And
like that.
I don't think Sony had any fucking idea that that's what they were going to do at all.
I definitely think Marvel had a lot of input in that though, because they've
yeah.
been like with all the other characters like Captain America, Iron Man, they've been really good at fleshing out the
Well,
characters.
they essentially, like, by the end of it, it seems unrecognizable to think that, like, this is the Peter that we saw at the start of Homecoming that's, like, in the decathlon team, gets, like, kind of semi-bullied by Flash. Like, he seems so far beyond that now that it's almost like a soft reboot in the same universe with the same character. Do you know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. What I like about it, though, is that, sure, it has taken 3 movies to get to this point, but I think that is the essence of Spider-Man, though, because there's a really common misunderstanding with Spider-Man, which is that he's always a kid, which just isn't the case. He's a kid for, like,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
first the first few years of his comic history. For the most part, Peter is like a fucking 25 to 30-year-old guy in his
Yeah.
fucking stories. And most of his fucking like big adventures don't happen until later in his life. So he doesn't necessarily have to be a kid dealing with this drama all the time. That is a very small portion of what Spider-Man is. He's Spider-Man. He's an actual adult dealing with this stuff. And I think now we're like stepping into that role. It's like now Tom is stepping into the role of Spider-Man, and it is going to take part, you know, of what we've seen from the comics and like most of the big stuff and going forward. And it's really fucking exciting.
It's
Yeah.
closer to like the Beth. I don't know if you've ever played this. I don't know if we've ever asked you about it either. It's the ending. Felt really closer to the interpretation of Peter that we see in the game.
Yeah.
The Marvel Spider-Man game.
No, I can't
Which is
comment on
my.
that.
You should play it, man. It's so good. But it's
You should get me a PS5.
you don't need one for that. PS4. That was my first experience.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
Oh.
but yeah, it's a great game anyway. But that's besides the point. It's the Peter Parker like that I'm the most familiar with, and when I kind of saw him turn on that light in that shitty apartment, and I saw him with the sewing machine out, I was like, I've never been more excited for the future of Spider-Man.
I'm interested to know if there's any tech in that suit,
Yeah, right.
or if it's just him. Yeah, yeah. I'm interested to know how that's going because maybe there is. Maybe he's still got some like Stark tech left over, which he could get his hands
Yeah.
on. But it seems just very much bare bones. Really.
I'd love the idea if it wasn't, because like if he was a smart person, which at the end of this movie he's clearly leveled up in terms of his maturity, he'd know that most of his shit has been caused from Tony Stark. Like even the Mysterio drone thing, that was all Stark tech. Like
Yeah.
I would love it, like if he was like, because I viewed it as him kind of like, right, if MJ is gonna love me, then she's gonna love me for me, not because I told her and not because of magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like if I'm gonna be Spider-Man, I'm gonna make my own suit and I'm gonna do things my way.
Yeah.
And like taking kind of Aunt May's like
He's
legacy
becoming his
forward with
own
him.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, it's fucking great. Nathan, you could probably answer this. Just quickly, the when you help someone, you help everyone quote. Was that from the game or is that an iconic?
No,
quote?
that's an Aunt May quote. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is in the game as well. It is in the game.
Yeah,
but
well, that's where it's most prevalent. That's the only place I've heard it.
no, yeah,
I've not
that's a
heard
big
that. I
Aunt May
liked
quote.
that. Obviously, everyone knows with great power comes great responsibility, but I never saw you help one person, you help everyone. I thought that was really nice, and that
That's a great
scene as
quote,
well
yeah.
with him and Happy at the grave, and just Happy not knowing who he is, like
That was a good moment as well because for
yeah,
a moment I'd completely forgot that like Strange had made everyone forget, and then when Happy came there and he said, "How did you know?" I was like, "What?" And then, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right. Because I thought,
'Cause that
so
means
is Peter living with Happy, but clearly not because like
no.
what's going on there?
But does that
So-
mean also, because I might be wrong, obviously I want to watch I will watch the movie again, but that also means Doctor Strange doesn't know who he is either, does
Doctor
he?
Strange doesn't know.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
literally no one knows Peter Parker anymore.
None of the Avengers will know.
Wow.
No one will know. It's literally just him now. Yeah.
Wow.
Fucking good shit, man. It's really
It's
good shit.
it's heartbreaking, but it's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
It's good. It's good Spider-Man stuff.
I'm really excited to see where this fucking story goes next with
Well, I
Tony,
think-
don't fuck it up.
I think we know where we're going next due to the first credit scene.
Oh shit, we need to talk about that as well. Right, quick, we need to get into this.
So the
And
the
I'm
first,
terrified because of Sony's 2 movies that they've done with the symbiote. They're fucking awful movies.
yeah, so the first you haven't seen Venom 2 yet, have you?
I have.
I haven't seen it. No,
You haven't seen
Oh.
it, no.
I
In the
spoil,
post-credits-
spoil away. I don't give a shit.
There's nothing really
I think the
spoiled.
only thing that you need to spoil from Venom is the end credit scene.
Yeah,
Which
the
I've
only
seen because
thing-
Nathan sent it to me. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's it. The rest of the movie's fucking. The only saving grace, in my opinion, is literally the actors. It's
Yeah, it's true. It's quite a bad movie.
Yeah.
There's some funny moments in it though. I think
There are.
I like the relationship between Eddie and Venom. But yeah, Venom came in the post-credit scene for Venom 2. Venom crossed over into the MCU. He saw Peter on TV in a scene which does not exist of him standing maskless in Times Square. So that was great to see. But anyway, he's in the MCU and like, what does this mean? Is this big things? Is he going to be here to stick around? Is he going to fight Spider-Man? Turns out no. He
No.
got straight away. He just got shoved off back to his own universe. And I was like, oh, well, that was pretty pointless. Then what?
That's how I felt. I was like,
But
Well,
then,
it's seemingly
but then,
pointless.
yes, exactly, seemingly pointless because a
camera
little piece
pans
of the
down.
symbiote is left behind.
Mm.
So leading to Venom in
Danny
the,
Rojas is Venom confirmed.
Danny Rojas is
How do you
Venom.
feel about though if because obviously I know they've got Charlie Cox as Daredevil, and I feel like with the Venom films, Tom Hardy was the saving grace of Venom. Are they gonna
yeah.
recast Tom
I
Hardy?
don't. What I think they'll do, and I hope they do this. I don't think they'll go down Eddie Brock. I think they'll do Flash Thompson,
Yeah.
because he's been Venom. He
Ah.
was the second Venom after
And
Eddie
they've
Brock.
already introduced Flash as well. That's interesting.
Yeah, yeah, and one of the things, one of my I guess criticisms is I wish Flash would have been in this movie more because I really like
Yeah.
that character, and I would like to have seen more of his reaction to the whole Peter thing. You get a little bit of it, but I'd like to see it in a bit more detail. But it's not his
Yeah.
movie, so fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just would have liked more of him really because I like that
That's
character.
always been like, I think that's always been such a unique dynamic because we even in the first two you never really see, outside of like Gwen, MJ, and Harry Osborn in all like 5 of the first 5 Spider-Man movies. You don't really see what his school life is like. You just know, haha, nerd gets bullied.
Yeah.
And in this, it was the
Fucking
first time
Joe
they fleshed out.
Manganiello, so
Well, no, but it's
fucking
it's the
huge.
first time they've fleshed out like other characters.
Yeah.
In this and Flash, I always loved what they were doing with Flash, and then in this one, he's just kind of like, Peter's my best friend. Like, I feel like you'd be like, nah, man, this is fucking big information, not just like a party trick that you can use to get girls at MIT or whatever. But yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
cool. We'll wrap up there unless anyone's got any other points.
Do you not want to talk about the second
Yeah,
one?
I
Oh yeah,
do.
fuck yeah, I forgot about
Or
that.
should we say mini trailer?
It was just a trailer, I think.
It
Just a
was, yeah,
full-on
it was.
fucking trailer.
It just kept
that'll be
going on.
released in a week.
I was blown away the fact that because usually you only get about like 30 seconds and stuff like that, but it just kept going on. I was like, oh my god,
The
this is
last
a trailer.
time, the last time that was done was at the end of Captain America, the first Avenger. They had a trailer for the Avengers at the end of that
Oh
one.
fuck yeah, they did. That was so long ago.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, here we are. We got a fucking trailer for
I can't fucking wait.
This is a bit of you, isn't it, Beth?
I love magic. I love Doctor Strange. I love Wonder Queen.
Wanda the
Fucking,
Queen.
you can choke me with that headpiece. Like, honestly, I can't fucking wait. I'm so excited.
Baron
I'm so
Mordo's
fucking
back. He's
excited.
got fucking dreads.
Dreads,
He's looking
yeah.
sick.
They're
And
finally paying off the Baron Mordo thing.
And
Like, it's been
also,
fucking years.
Oh, it's been so long.
and also, is that the fucking Strange from What If?
Yes.
I think so.
I think it is too. What's going on?
I think in What If the Doctor Strange episode was my favorite episode in What If.
Yeah,
the best one by far, I think.
Yeah, and do you know what? Like, I just think Benedict Cumberbatch is phenomenal. I think he was I'm going to be bold here and say he is another perfect casting. You know how some people say Hugh Jackman is Wolverine, RDJ is Iron Man.
That comes with the fact that he's an actor's actor, isn't he? Like he's an actor that I really appreciate because he doesn't act like he's above the MCU. He's like, I'll go and do my Shakespeare play in London, and then I'll come and have fucking fun and make millions.
Exactly. And now I'm of the opinion that Benedict Cumberbatch is Doctor Strange.
He's very good. He is very good, and he was really good in What If because he did do the voice. And I think it has to be fucking Dark Strange from What If because
it would be way too bold to not do that.
Exactly. If they're bringing in another Dark Strange, it would seem weird, wouldn't it? If you have this connected universe, then you might as well use it. So
exactly.
Yeah, I think it
and
is.
Seeing Wanda again, like as Scarlet Witch in her costume.
Costume's a little different, but it looks great. It looks great.
Do you know Elizabeth Olsen actually helped design the new costume? Yeah, she did.
What queen?
She did. They let her have a big input in the new costume. So
there's a great moment in like a newscasting thing, and it's just like a bit of text at the bottom of like one of the news parts of like when they give you like some exposition over the news.
Yeah.
There's just the bottom of text at the bottom that says, "Why does Spider-Man hate historical monuments so much?" It just fucking made me crease.
That's very funny.
Because he in Homecoming he fucked up the Washington Monument. Then it was Tower Bridge. Then it was Statue of Liberty next.
You was about to say London Bridge, you fake Londoner.
I was about to say London Bridge. Yeah. Did he fuck up anything in Far From Home?
Yeah, London Bridge.
Tower Bridge.
Sorry, I meant like when he was abroad.
Venice.
I guess he fucked up a bit of Venice.
What was your standout part of the movie? I think my part, obviously, don't get me wrong, I love the introduction of Andrew and Toby and But my favourite part, although it was an incredibly sad scene, and I think you'll probably agree with me that the scene where him and May are talking, obviously before she collapses on the floor, for me, that was the pivotal moment where I was like, Tom is the Spider-Man for me, because he's never looked more like Spider-Man. He's never come
Yeah.
across more like Spider-Man. And for me, that was the pivotal moment where I was like, yeah, no, he's the best.
I think for me, for the exact same reason, I'm gonna say just that whole ending sequence of him, in the apartment and then jumping out with a new suit and that sort of thing. Because for the exact same reason, that was like, and I've never not necessarily seen Tom as not Spider-Man. I've always seen him as Spider-Man,
Yeah.
just like a younger and more inexperienced version. But
Yeah.
that was like the moment where he's the guy now. He's fully stepped into
Yeah.
the role. Loved it.
Yeah, Lawrence.
I'm gonna say I love maybe this is because I rewatched Spider-Man 3 recently as well. I was a massive fan of how dark they took it, and if I had to pick one moment, it'd be when Tom is just beating the shit out of the Green Goblin. The reason I like that scene, when he's like fucking just going nuts on the Green Goblin, and then Toby jumps in and saves Norman from the glider.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like that a lot, because it was always the guilt thing of, no, he didn't kill the Green Goblin, but it fucking ruined his friendship with Harry.
Yeah.
And then Harry ended up dying the same way. And that's all. And then the fact that he mentioned it, although it wasn't the greatest performance, he did mention that, he's lost people, he's lost his best friend, died in his arms. It was heartbreaking. That was his moment of, yes, and Andy got to catch MJ, but he got to save Norman this time, which I thought was great.
When Tom picked up that glider, I was like, fucking hell, they're doing this?
Me too.
That was brutal.
Yeah.
No, I knew they'd never have done it, but the fact that he just still weighed the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
Like, just mate, those
The
punches.
sound, I was going to say the sound mixing was really well in that scene, because I feel like I felt every punch that he was throwing.
The fight in the fucking condo as well was really brutal, of them just like going in between the
was.
floors and stuff as well.
I was like, fuck, that must fucking hurt, bro.
Yeah. All right. One last point I want to make, and then we can go. And this is mostly to you, Lawrence, because I don't think Beth will understand this. Did you see the Avi Arad line in the credits? And did you think it was fucking weird?
Yeah.
It was so weird.
I thought it, and the first thing I thought was, Avi Arad has the editor captive, and he's typed that himself. Beth, for context, very quick context, as I want to wrap up so quick.
Yeah,
but,
I want to know.
Avi Arad is a famous Spider-Man producer. He's worked with Sony and Spider-Man projects for fucking ages. Like, I'm talking down to the 90s, like cartoons.
Yes.
Like, basically anything Spider-Man that's ever come out in your lifetime has had Avi Arad attached to it in one way or another.
But he's also a terrible person.
He's a terrible producer.
Yeah.
He's a terrible producer. He constantly tells directors to think of the fans, and he is the cause that Spider-Man 3 is overstuffed. He is the cause that Amazing Spider-Man 2 is overstuffed, and he's a large reason why both of the projects got rebooted.
And Toby and Andrew got screwed.
Yeah. Avi Arad, everything good you like about Spider-Man, nothing to do with him. Everything you don't like, him. 1,000,000% him.
Okay.
And at the end of this movie, there's a line that says, the studio would like to extend thanks to Avi Arad for basically being the biggest Chad at Marvel and Sony.
But what I found weird about it is they said, special thanks to Avi Arad for being the original true believer, which is a Stan Lee catchphrase. Why are they giving a Stan Lee catchphrase to Avi Arad? I thought... that was fucking weird.
Because Stan Lee has resurrected and is selling NFTs now, Nate.
Don't get me started. I feel like that. I feel like Avi Arad just typed that out himself while no one was looking.
Did.
Yeah. Anyway, fuck you, Avi Arad.
Right. I want to go to bed at some point tonight, so you've been listening to another Happy Pod. Thank you, Beth, for joining us, and for joining us next week, which you'll be doing.
Yes.
Because we're going to be discussing this show.
You know, it would be a lot easier if we were facing the other way.
You were facing the other way.
Yeah, hey, we're communicating.
Hang on.
Wow, that was
Hawkeye. Hawkeye at Christmas time.
Very much so.
Kate Bishop is here. She's got a bow and a dog. Yelena is here.
Episodes go
She's
out
got
Friday at
some
10 a.m. If you like this, you can catch us at 10 a.m. every
and
Friday.
some hot
You can also follow
sauce.
us at Another Happy Pod on Twitter and Instagram.
And there's
Thank you very
some
much for
trick
listening. We will see
arrows.
you next week,
You
baby.
better watch out.
Goodbye.
You better not cry.
cry.
You better not. But this doesn't work.
shout, I'm
Please
telling
end
you
this.
why.
Never.
Hawkeye's coming to Christmas this town.
That was something else.
Hawkeye is coming to Christmas this time.